Welcome to Moonbase 2.
Hello everybody, welcome to the Moonbase 2 podcast. My name is Andy, Corporate Commander TFW, and I'm joined this week by the flattened bit blue tack himself. It's Mikey, G-Wolf E3. Hello, Mikey.
Hello.
Oh, that's a quiet one. What's up?
Alright. I've got the theme for Little Nightmares playing over and over in my head, and it won't fucking stop, and I'm very distracted by it.
That's one of them popular games that's going around at the moment, isn't it? At least Little Nightmares 2.
The original came out, 3 years ago now, I think?
I don't know.
I'll be honest, it's actually really good.
Hmm.
And it's quite a smart game. It's fucking gorgeous. But there's just the main theme. It's just like da da dum da da dum, and it just gets stuck there and it won't go away.
Okay. I only know really of it because I think Silver and Zen have been playing the second one recently.
I watched Silver playing the second one.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But I would like. I was going to say Little Nightmares you can get on PlayStation right now for free, but you have to have the actual account.
You mean a gold membership kind of thing?
The PS Now. It's on. You can download it for PS Now.
Yeah, I always like how they say it's free. It's like it's not really. you gotta pay for the subscriptions. So technically, it's £9. And isn't it one of those services that as soon as you stop paying for the service, the free game goes away?
Yeah, you still the data is still there, but you won't be able to use it until you reactivate the service.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that personally. I understand it. I get it. It's a way to keep you hooked, but it's like, It's a frowny face from me.
I mean, I would say Little Nightmares isn't a game I'd say you'd play more than once or twice. It's not like it's not that kind of game.
No, it didn't look it. Yeah,
but I really like it. It's just it's interesting. The popular those the ones everyone's playing and all the streamers are playing and all the YouTubers are playing. Like frequently they're not ones I'm into. Like Undertale. Like I was fine to watch the story of Undertale the first time around. I would never want to play Undertale.
Okay. See, I'm not sure. I mean, if this was like 5 or I don't know how old Undertale is anymore, but I don't think Undertale Undertale is popular at the moment because of the
HoloLive
people are doing it, aren't they?
Which is hilarious to me. But that's what put it in my head, to be completely honest. But there's other games like Journey or Inside or something like that, which I absolutely would play.
I like Journey was a PlayStation one, wasn't it? The PlayStation 4, 4?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember being made to watch that at Dave's, and I was like, I'm so bored.
It's not I can't imagine watching it. Like, I know Ina did one.
Right.
And I saw clips of that, but I can't imagine watching someone play Journey.
It's a very pretty game, but it is not visually interesting to watch.
Yeah, you need to be playing it.
Yeah, and even those kind of games are not my kind of games. Like, I was like watching Little Nightmares. I watched a bit of it, and I was like, it's okay. I wouldn't want to play it though.
But yeah, I can't. Yeah, like Inside's one. I would definitely say right person you could watch, but it's
which one's Inside?
It's made by the same people who made Limbo, I believe.
Oh, okay.
So it's very dark. But again, it's what I kind of call the fill in the gaps yourself subgenre.
Yeah. Which I think came about, oddly enough. This is a guess. I'm going to say due to Dark Souls' way of storytelling, that those kind of games took up in popularity a bit more.
I don't know. I literally have no idea if it was like Dark Souls or some indie game made it popular or whatever. But
I think Dark Souls was one of the big ones that kind of started pushing we're not really going to tell you a story. You're going to have to put in the effort if you want to learn about what's going on in the world. It was like one of the bigger ones, I'm sure. It probably wasn't the first one in it. It probably wasn't the only one of their time, because obviously like Demon Souls did that as well. But I like to believe that it was probably one that maybe made it popular. But I could, again, easily could be wrong there. Easily.
Who knows? Some
know.
Some game historian is pushing up his glasses right now. It's like, excuse me.
I actually know.
This was the role-play point-and-click adventure Lenny Goes to Las Vegas.
Oh my god. No, you mean Leisure Suit Larry.
Yes. I was trying to
The
remember
ultimate
name.
story.
I was trying to remember the name of that.
Was it actually Leisure Suit Larry you were talking about?
I believe so, yeah. Because
Oh my god, what a guess.
I was going through the Switch library, and it's up there because Switch don't give a fuck.
Really? Leisure Suit Larry's still a thing?
Leisure Suit Larry, it's a relatively new game by the looks of it.
Oh my god, how is that still going?
I don't know, but again, what is Switch? Seriously,
I don't know.
what is the dark underbelly of Switch no one talks about?
The Switch seems to be a console which Nintendo doesn't make any games for apart from remakes.
Yeah.
And then porn as well.
Remakes, Mario, porn.
Yeah. It's a fucking weird console.
But all they want you to do is look at the Mario and occasionally the remakes and Fire Emblem. And just look at these things. Look over here. Don't look over there. Don't look over there. But you should look over there.
It's probably like going to Denmark, right? And it's just you go past the red light district, but they're like, no, we have other things. It's like, there is the red light district as well, though.
Denmark has many wonderful things. I mean, there's the red light district, but we have wonderful things. Look at our rolling valleys and everything else. I mean, there's still the red light district. You could go.
Don't they have the weed bars there as well? So it's like, oh, maybe don't look at the weed bars either. Ugh, I don't know.
You're just trapped in one street in Denmark. Your only options are the red light district or the drugs district.
Yeah, it's either weeds or titties. It's like,
where
do you want to go?
And a friendly man, a friendly local is like, my friend, come. You probably will, but but you'll be too high to remember.
I wonder if the red light district will open their open up their ideas and get like a VTuber thing going there.
Oh my god, that like how do
Think
we know
about
there
that.
isn't one?
Yeah, that's the thing. Like maybe they're up to date on the times and
like,
see how the wind is blowing.
Real talk, real genuine talk. I expect things like Pornhub to move into like VTuber like live streaming VTubers in the not too distant future.
I mean, you look at how successful Project Melody's been. Like she's up there with like the most popular people on Chatterbait, apparently win awards and stuff. And it's like, okay, she hasn't even been around that long, really, in comparison to some people. Like she's rocketed up.
I've never seen any of her other material that's not on Twitch before someone comes at me. But from what I was getting the impression, it seems to be 5 minutes of what you're there for and 4 hours of her talking about whatever random shit pops into her brain.
Which is pretty much who Mel seems to be generally.
Yeah. And I would go for the latter if I could admit I was probably also there for the former.
See, the random shit she probably talks about on there is just the weird lewd stuff that she talks about anyway.
Yeah, but just without the censorship.
Yeah, exactly. You know? Bizarre.
Like,
it's fascinating. I think it's the most interesting anime that's going on at the moment.
Yeah, and she just seems like a sweetheart.
She does. Mad as a basket of crazy cats.
Christ, too many normal people in the world.
Yeah. I could imagine like another description for Mel is a basket of crabs foaming at the mouth.
I basically say Mel is her D&D character. Like she is this crazy off the wall lunatic.
I almost said with less morals.
I don't know how. I distinctly for the second half of their campaign, no pants is just a thing that she keeps reminding people of.
Yeah, this doesn't sound like a thing that she doesn't do in real life either, though.
I'm assuming she doesn't walk down a public beach with no pants on, though.
You don't know.
Or a village.
You don't know.
Or a bar.
There are nudists in the world, Mikey. They exist.
Yeah, but we herd them into camps, Andy. They're not allowed outside.
Oh my god. Well, Mikey, we're here to talk about Transformers this week, believe it or not. We actually have some news to talk about. Not a huge swath, but I think more this week than we've had in previous weeks. The upswing is a-coming, but maybe not. Some of it's poo. Some of the news I would legit say is bad, but we'll get onto that later. So we'll kick off, Mikey, with third-party news. Zeta Toys
learned nothing.
What's that?
I'm just going before you go on. Zeta Toys learned nothing should be the underline of this.
Oh, I'll poke you about that in a minute then. Zeta Toys, Zeta EX 15, 16, and 17. So Zeta Toys has decided to make a figure that they have decided to name Zeta. So it is Zeta Toys Zeta. Why would you do that? Why would
no
you
one
do
else
that?
is going to call it that.
I guess that's true, but maybe somebody should have. Like another company with a name, so it wouldn't. I don't know. Zeta Toys Zeta just looks weird visually. I wouldn't choose the same name of the toy as the company. You know, it's weird. Excuse me. Either way, this is a Starscream figure because you can probably guess what 16 and 17 are going to be.
Dirge and Sunstorm.
No, you should have gone for
Red Wing and Nacelle.
Nacelle. I was trying to think of Nacelle. I was thinking of the most stupid one that no one likes, and it's Nacelle.
Background Seeker B.
Yeah, the purple one, which again, solid purple.
No,
and
they've
white
given him a
hands
name. I'm sure they've given him a name.
More than likely.
Hotlink?
Yeah.
Is that Hotlink?
How would he? No, it can't be Hotlink.
I don't know. You may not believe this, but I have not memorized every single variant of the Seekers.
Nor I, because why? We only have so much time on the planet Earth, Mikey. And I'd rather memorize other useless junk than specifically this. 3P collectors may recognize that this is, in fact, the previous Toy World's Masterpiece Seeker mold. We had back in 2016. Oh my god, 5 years ago. Kill me now.
I didn't see that bit.
No, this is just what I'm reading. But it was never released. Huh. It was never released. Zeta Toys has finally released. It will finally release this. I think this should be in quotations. This interesting Starscream, Thundercracker, and Skywarp alternative for the Masterpiece scaled for those who don't look for a cartoon accurate toy design. So
I mean, that looks pretty cartoony.
No, I'd say this looks more like. Do you remember the For Better was the original Masterpiece Starscream?
Yeah. Oh yeah, the green one.
Yeah, the green one. That mold.
Yeah.
I think it looks more like that mold than it does a cartoon version. In fairness to it, they also showed.
Well, I like that better.
Did you?
Okay. No, I like that idea better now.
Oh, okay.
You know,
they show the mold with the shoulder pads and the crown because if there is a Starscream, there will be a crown and cape set. I think we said that. Didn't we even touch on this last week? I think we did.
Yeah,
if not last week, the week
Masterpiece
before.
Skywarp. When they announced Masterpiece Skywarp, they said, also we're doing a set over.
That's
in Japan.
right. That's right. It was announced alongside. The upgrade kit for whatever reason, and we were making a mockery of it, and we'll do it again because it's still stupid. So this is a 5-year-old design, arguably older because designs will have been made before prototypes.
Yeah, probably actually started in 2014.
Oh god, you might be right. Maybe not that long ago, maybe that long ago. Either way, this is an old toy design. I would say it looks its age, personally.
Yeah, I mean, I have to admit, from that era, I tend to remember the wilder design, so I can't tell you like what an MP third party was going for, but it looks unremarkable, and it doesn't look like it's pushing any boundaries.
Yeah, I would say it looks of its time because it again reminds me too much of the Masterpiece. The whatever, like 2 or 3, MP 1 or 2 or 3.
Like they were trying to emulate a lot of its aesthetics rather than a more traditional Starscream or a more original take on Starscream.
Yeah, I would say stuff like that. I mean, it doesn't look terrible. It just looks old, I guess.
It's quite clean underneath.
It does. I'll give it that. But I think the MP3 or whatever, again, it was pretty clean underneath itself as well. Actually, I think it looks like it might transform exactly the same because I think if you look on the underside, if you see the 2 ports at the top, the little bit in the center, if I remember, those fold outwards to become the outside of the abs or the waist area, like on the Masterpiece toy.
I'm not sure.
I'm pretty sure it is. But either way, it's coming. So if you've been really gagging for this design specifically and not another redo of the Glacier Lords or more Glacier Lords.
Or anything like that. Please.
Yes.
Also from the same era.
Oh god, that's true.
I want them. Still.
Yeah.
I would still buy a good price Glacial Lord.
What do you consider good price though? Good price for then or good price for now? Because I'm sure good price now is not the same.
No, but good price I can afford like food that week.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah. But then again, hey, how's Megatronia's prices doing, Mikey?
Don't talk to me. I'm still looking. The worst thing about Megatronia is like it's not necessarily her; it's the bumped up shipping.
I mean, that doesn't help. Yeah,
No.
she's already expensive on her own, and then
Yeah,
you've
but
got the
one
shipping
day.
on top, which is like, woohoo. Yeah.
One day.
Any other thoughts on this, Mikey? On Zeta Toys, Zeta?
Yeah, they didn't learn.
What do you mean? Okay, yes. What did you mean about this?
So, one, I don't think this looks remarkable in any way, shape, or form, and it
Yeah.
basically looks like it. Like, I think Howling Meteor or whatever it was, the Make Toys one looked
right.
better than this.
Yes, a lot better.
And that is also actually from about at least 2 years ago, maybe further. So, what was the last big toy Zeta Toys went to release?
I don't remember. I'll be honest, a lot of third-party toys just kind of mush in my brain.
They went to release Zeta Toys Cell, otherwise known as Zeta Toys Unicron.
Oh no, that went
they
really badly, didn't it?
Which they attempted to release in the middle of the build of the crowdfunding scheme for the official Unicron, acting as a direct competitor.
Yeah, that was a bad idea. Yeah.
Now, after Unicron got released, they came back under a new name, Studio Series Cell or something like that. Studio 01, I think it was. And released it with, released it afterwards. And, Hasbro wasn't in direct competition with them, so Hasbro didn't fucking blink.
Yes.
They are now bringing out a Seeker mold, an old Seeker mold it may be, but a Seeker mold for Masterpiece, as Hasbro is taking pre-orders for their new Masterpiece, putting them directly in competition once again with an existing toy from Takara this time. So, they've learned nothing. And I really don't like these because Hasbro and Takara are pretty hands-off with the whole third-party thing until they realize this exact figure will lose us money that we could have had on this exact figure. And that means their eye suddenly turns towards them. And the eyes of the lawyers turn towards them. And every time that happens, I have this sinking feeling in my chest that one guy from Hasbro will rear his head back up from 8 years ago, wherever the fuck he was around, trying to ruin everyone's fun. I think he tried to get fan art banned.
Yes. Yeah, I remember
him?
That. Jesus,
remember him?
Yeah.
He said he wanted fan art removed from BotCon because it wasn't licensed.
That's right. Yeah. Wow, how many years ago was that?
Not enough.
Yeah, it's true.
Oh, God. So I just don't want... Doing stuff like this attracts that bit of attention. And no offense to Zeta Toys, but if this is your 15th, 16th, and 17th release, you've probably got something else in the pipeline. You'd be smarter to shelve this ASAP and not get the lawyers on you. And do whatever is coming up next.
It's
This feels to me the guy who designed this back in the day for Toy World came over to Zeta Toys and they were like, "Oh, Masterpiece Starscream, we've got a mold for that." Are
you suggesting that Hasbro might come down on these guys again? Is that
I think
your
it will,
feeling?
and I don't like the idea of them having to come down on the same guys twice.
No.
Whenever they've done it before, there's been a lot of okay, grand, and the same guys have never made the same mistake twice. I don't like the feeling of a company doing it twice because that is upping that risk factor.
I can see that. That makes sense to me.
So, I hope I'm wrong. I hope that the fact this isn't toony will do, or that this doesn't get the kind of... Because their Unicron got loads of pre-orders in a very short period of time because of just the price difference.
And it was a lot better looking and end product, one could easily argue, I think.
I mean,
right?
I'm not one to talk. I haven't handled either, but I haven't.
Yeah, but visually, let's just talk about how both looked.
I know which one I would rather have.
And it's called Megatronia.
yes. Take your Unicron, shove it up your arse, and give me this wonderful, bizarre concept that made a toy I had no interest in look like one of the best things produced in the last 10 years.
Hell yeah.
But, so I'm unfortunately, as the Dragons would say, I'm out on this one because I don't think it's... I think you're poking the bear here.
That's fair. I can see where you're coming from. That makes sense.
The bear's already taken a swipe, and you're standing there maybe I'll sleep next to you, Mr. Bear. You want to have a nap?
As he's rubbing honey on his nipples.
Yeah, so basically this is what leads to you being in a documentary about why you shouldn't be too close with wild bears.
That was a fascinating documentary of me just going, this is stupid.
Well, you know what?
You did ask for it, I guess.
I'll stay a little bit longer. Oh, turns out if I stay a little bit longer, I'm into the hibernation period, where bears Uber eat so they can survive sleeping for 3 months.
Oh, such a bad idea.
I've never stayed in this period before. I stayed in the period where they don't eat much and are very happy to ignore everyone and everything. Whoopsie!
Hey, at the very least, it was a very interesting documentary.
Narrated by a very strange man.
Very, very, very. Is that all you got, Mr. Mikey? Yep. You got other stuff?
That's it for Zeta Toys.
All right, Mikey. I'll cover this one as well since he sent it to me. Apparently, G Creations is doing the GDW-03M Fuma and the GDW-03B Darko Blade, which is a limited edition. So, both me and Mikey were not sure if this was a re-release or some kind of copy, maybe, of the Mastermind Creation 6-shot, because that's what this guy is, as it looks very similar in a lot of ways, but apparently not.
Very similar. Apparently
not. It's apparently its own beast. There are prices up for apparently Fuma's limited edition as well. Stands over 11 inches tall, has 6 transformation modes, because obviously it's 6-shot. Normal version is going to be, let's just round it up by 1 cent. It's going to be $200. It's like, boy, wowzers. If you want the black version, it's surprisingly not that much more. It's $205, so it's just $5 more. It
feels like so petty. It's like
I don't quite know why.
I'm getting extra money out of it. I'm getting that extra $5.
The thing that would have made more sense is if Fuma wasn't the limited edition one, but the dark one was. Maybe there's a mix-up in the marketing here, but it seems like weird to market them both as limited edition and, like you say, just kind of bump the price up on one, unless the idea is, well, less people are going to buy this version, so we'll ask for a little bit more, you know?
That would be my figure of choice between these two.
Really? Why would that be? Do you just like the colours on the purple?
Yeah, no, I think it's basically it's kind of like Tarn meets Shattered Glass, and I think it really works.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah. I mean, what do you think of these guys? Because to me, it just looks like another 6-shot. I mean, like, the confusion of between this one and the Mastermind Creation one is apt.
Think it's more posable. Like, it does look more posable to me.
Yes,
because I have handled the Mastermind Creation one, and it's a gorgeous figure, but it's a display piece. It's a
Would
fun
you say
display piece.
This is maybe like a masterpiece? A
2.0,
1.0,
kind of
2.0 kind of thing.
But I like the fact the sword sheet is on the back.
That's cool. Yes,
because I've always liked that kind of that thing in the shows where they draw it like that, and also it means it's out of the way for a lot of posing, which is always good because I love sword sheets, but they can get in the way.
True.
It looks like the hands are individually articulated as well, which is really nice. The modes are typical, shall we say? Right up to and including Upside Down Submarine. The wolf looks more posable than the Mastermind one.
Yeah.
Which I think, G Creations do some of those Beast U1 characters.
Is it the same company?
Yeah, they did, who did they do? I think they did Rodimus, I know they did Primal.
Huh, okay. I don't know.
So, I suppose they have a bit of experience. Did they do Sideswipe? I think they did Sideswipe as well, the bull.
They must have done, right?
Yeah. But, I like the modes. I think the Dark Blade looks pretty solid, in all honesty. I think it just pops more. And it, for the aesthetic, I think giving it a darker color scheme works. At first I thought it was a reference to Shadow Maru or something like that, but his color scheme's quite different.
Yes.
But no, I like this. I think it looks fun.
Oh, cool. I'm not too fussed by either of them, in all honesty, but they don't look bad. They just look like things that exist. Things that exist. More 6-shots. It's been a while since we've had a 6-shot third-party figure, so I guess here is another opportunity if you wanted a third-party one, since Hasbro hasn't made one and Takara hasn't done one as well since Combiner Wars, right? Yeah, Combiner Wars was the last one.
Yeah,
which was okay.
It was a fun. I not the 6-shot, the quick switch.
Okay.
Yeah. And he was fun.
Yeah, for quick switch, I suppose.
Came in a big box, which is why I ended up with him. But
As you do.
I was after Nautica like everyone else.
Oh, no, it was that one. Oh, I get you. I understand.
Yeah. I like Nautica. She's great.
Yeah.
But, cool. I don't know what else to say. Cool.
I mean, then, Mikey, I want you to take us on to your speciality.
Okay, I'm going to have to stretch for this one. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh. Right, ladies and gentlemen, the latest of the Sakamoto comics, following on from... This is, of course, Generation Selects, which follows on from Legends, which follows on from whatever the fuck it came before.
Now, is this comic, before you get into it, is this with the toy, or is this just one that went on the website?
This went on their website. This is one of their... This is their finales, and their finales are usually standalones.
Okay.
So, yeah. So, this has all been building up since Legends to Unite Warriors to Generations. So, this has been going on for a while. Jeez, when was the first Legends comic out? And I'm sure there's going to be something more coming out of after this for Beast Wars. The very first one...
That was a while ago, man.
2014. Sakamoto
has
been drawing this comic continuity in some shape or form for 7 years.
That's nuts. That's so much.
I tip my derby to you, sir.
Yeah, definitely.
Tip it.
Yeah.
Why isn't he at more cons?
Who knows?
Because people hate me specifically.
Well, to be fair, there aren't any cons at the moment, so, you know.
That's not the point. So this one actually had, it's a big one, and he brought in a bit of extra help in this one.
Oh.
So Akira Memi is involved. For the man of Trigger and Flame Toys and an obsession with his fandom. And also a fella named Lebanon Suji. Which translates into Lebanon Cider.
Okay.
I'm assuming not your given name, as they are a Japanese person, and I've yet to hear of a Japanese person or meet a Japanese person named Lebanon.
Doesn't mean it couldn't happen.
No, they've done some work on extra, extra help and colors and stuff like that. So this is them filling in a bit. And a lot of colorists.
Right.
So, Ricken, who I'm not familiar with. Lebanon. Josh Perez.
Hey.
Kayara Rena, not familiar with you. Gufu Kandagawa, I've actually heard of you. Rui Onishi, I've heard of. And Yuki Oshima, I've heard of. They've done different comics on their own stuff. So, yeah, this is big. And it's confusing as fuck because it's told in a... It's it's a backstory with what's going on in the middle, but I'm reading translations.
Yes.
Of which are one translation I was reading is a break for break breakdown of what's going on in the panels, which means I'm not seeing where obvious jumps between the different timelines.
Okay.
And the other one, it's a summary where they've put all the stuff in the past at the start and all the stuff in the future or in the present at the end. But there's so much stuff in the past that it is oh my god. It's like Sakamoto had some sort of fangasm and is just cleaning up his splooge.
It sounds like it's really easy to follow.
Yeah, I'm sure if you're Japanese and able to read the language and read the kanji and everything else, it is fine. I'm not. I'm just a weeb. So I'm going to do my best. I'm going to give an overview, and I'm going to point out some of the weirder tie-ins. Because it's Sakamoto and the man will not stop. Okay?
Sure.
So, very broad overview, and if I get any of this wrong, give me a fucking break.
Sure.
Not you, I don't care about you. But, so, last time this ended, because I went back and double-checked this, it was hinted that Primus was up to no good.
Oh my god.
And now we find out that Primus was up to no good.
Oh my god.
So, years and years and years ago, in another universe, the Primus Vanguard was founded by Primus, and they made up the 7 Warriors of Light, including Shattered Glass Akane with her big lollipop.
who was a Transformer, right?
Yes, with her big lollipop. The lollipop is, you won't believe this, a recurring theme. And, yeah. Their universe were eventually attacked by the Vok from the current Sakamoto G1 universe.
Ah, yes.
Who, after they failed in the Beast Wars, they traveled back to this other universe. To stop them, Primus summoned Optimus and Galvatron, gave Optimus the power of the Silver Matrix to transform into Star Convoy. He was able to beat them. He said, right, going forward, I want you to collect the star powers and complete the Matrix in your universe. Away you go. Great. Then it turns out that they weren't parallel universes, they're linear universes. Primus's universe was the first one.
Okay.
It was destroyed. Everything that survived basically became a god. Like the Vanguard that survived, Primus himself, and then the modern universe, the universe we're all familiar with, took its place.
Okay.
This is because Primarchron, who basically used Anglemois energy to try to kill the universe he was in and make another one. So he could become God.
Oh.
Using Unicron.
Obviously.
Primus basically stopped him, or tried to stop him, by summoning the Dinobots from our universe, because they beat Primarchron on that side of things.
Right, yes. Yeah, from that 1G1 episode, okay.
So Primarchron is Galactus.
Okay.
Who made a Galactus while making an entire universe.
Yes, Primarchron, of course, if you don't remember, is the little weird monkey dude.
Otherwise known as, at the time, the worst origin story you could give to a deity I've ever seen.
Yeah, it was kind of disappointing compared to the comic version, I suppose, wasn't it?
Yeah. So at some point, Blue Brightest Convoy, who is Reverse Convoy, and if anyone doesn't know, Reverse Convoy was created for the Robot Masters shorts.
That's right.
The very short toy line. Toy line. I watched the fan dub of those back in the day. It was a retool of Generation 2 Heroes Megatron into a Prime, except the reveal was it was actually Rebirth Megatron in disguise. Yeah,
it had an extra head on the back of the cannon which you could flip around. It was quite a neat gimmick, really.
Yeah, I liked it. Not a bad toy, honestly.
No.
So I've always wanted one myself. I've only ever handled one, but he dies. He passes the role of the Blue Order over to Big. Then it turns out there's another enemy who's like these Matrix ghosts.
Okay.
And Primus is becoming increasingly dissatisfied with the universe, because it turns out what Primarchron did was basically create a universe where horrible things happen and people die, and that wasn't really a thing beforehand. Which is like things like the Decepticon War, Optimus Prime's death, Mayor Megatron turning into Megatron Omega, etc., etc., etc. That's only possibly because of our universe. So Primus was warned multiple times that maybe you shouldn't be fucking with stuff you shouldn't be fucking with. However, he basically said, I'm basically been made God by Uber God, so I'll do what the fuck I want. And ended up attracting like these Matrix demons, and shit went real. And Primus basically came to the realization that the universe they're in is a fucking disaster and they'd be better off where they were. So he spread out everyone. The Primal Vanguard had broken up, and he decided he was going to use Star Convoy and everyone else to try and gather together the powers of the Vanguard so he could reunite them with the real Silver Matrix. And because it turned out Star Convoys was like a battery copy of it. And then he would use it to wipe out the universe and replace it with his old one.
Okay.
Thereby killing everyone in our universe.
Logical. Yeah.
Right. Because he's a crazy deity. Anyway, this all comes to a head in the place where they are, which is not really considering what's going on now. I don't know if they're in the modern universe or if they're in the old universe or if they're in like a nebulous like pseudo time between, but they're on Blue Planet. It starts breaking on because Primarchron's making his move. Primus sicks the Dinobots on him. They can't stop him, and the Blue Planet turns into Neo Primus, which is a really, really big robot.
What was that based off of? Because that reminds me of a figure we had years ago.
A movie release.
Was it? The big blue version of Cybertron?
Yep. It was... What line was that from?
Wasn't it the
that
Galaxy
was
Force
from
one?
The Last Night Cybertron.
Oh, okay.
It was the Galaxy Force toy, but it was repainted into those colors.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. And it was it slightly? It might have been slightly remolded as something, right? Something like that.
No, it's a straight deco.
Oh, really? They even had the Cyberplanet key crap in it.
Yeah, it doesn't come with the
wow.
white Cyberplanet key. It doesn't, but it comes with a Cyberplanet key.
Huh. All right. Well, fine.
So anyway, caught up to what's been the action that's been going on.
Mm-hmm.
The Dinobots go to deal with Neo Primus. They bring the Terracons, Turtler, and his Seacons as well. Grimlock basically tells the Terracons to go nuts and eat all the Angle 1 energy that they can to try and stop this thing. And Turtler and the Seacon, because remember they have now become their predecessor Mayor Megatron, they have become noble, like, we help everyone, we're good guys, and they're trying to get people off the planet.
Okay, sure.
God Neptune, meanwhile, is still fighting Megatron Omega, who transforms into Megatron Omega Hand Mode, which has been dominating my Twitter for the last week, as people are doing this themselves with either the Masterpiece or the Voyager, which it turns out my Voyager is now in customs, so I'm waiting for that. Who joins onto Purple Wicked Convoy's hand. We will be referring to them as Akane from now on. Because fuck you.
Simplicity's sake as well.
Yeah. Joins onto Akane's arm, and they go for the big punch. They go to attack, and then Lobhammer, the dead repaint of Lobclaw, who we never saw, shows up, blocks it, but then he shoots Scylla and knocks her off, and she drifts off into space, and he takes the place of the leg, and God Neptune's like, what the fuck? Starscream, who's in gold, which is a big thing now. Starscream's in gold, and is saying, like, they've gathered most of the powers together, they need a few more. Neo Primus shows up now, still being attacked by the Dinobots and everyone else. Primus is now basically revealing his card to Star Convoy and saying, like, listen, this universe sucks. Everything that's ever happened, including you dying, is because this universe sucks. What if I just made it go away? What if I made it go away?
Oh, what could go wrong, Mikey?
Yeah. And Star Convoy's like, this is an imperfect place full of imperfect people, and by God, I'm going to save them.
Whether they want it or not.
By God. So Primus decides to make his move and brings in the Golden Age, which is all these gold repaints.
Okay, sure.
And of various Transformers, including Starscream now, who will work for Primus. He tricks the Dinobots into going after Primacron because he says, oh, I'm a hero, go after Primacron, Dinobots. And they go into Volcanicus and attack. And before Star Convoy can stop them, he gets piled on by the bad guys and the Golden Age. And basically they gag him, which, considering he has a faceplate, that's an achievement.
Agreed, yeah.
Then Lobhammer, who it turns out has worked for Primus, he takes over God Neptune, at least, like, his body. Like, the God Neptune is aware he's being controlled, but he makes him throw the sword over the Primus, who then stabs Akane through the heart, converting her to dust with nothing but her lollipop remaining, her broken, shattered lollipop floating in the nethers of space, getting the final piece of the puzzle, gathering the 7 stars power together, and basically having the ability to wipe out reality and replace it with the one he liked better. As Starscream giggles, because Starscream thinks this will go his way. And that is the end of this one. And references of note include the 7 lights come from a character called G1. Where's
the panel where there's only the lollipop left?
The last, you can see, like, the very last one, you can see, like, the convoys fading away. And there's just a lollipop there floating, cracked but whole.
Are these images actually in order?
Yes. I'm looking at the PDF. I can't tell you if I'm looking I'm not looking at the website.
Because on the website, the last page
those are not in order. Those are not in order.
Okay, because I'm looking at what they say is the last panel, which is Volcanicus has combined.
No, Volcanicus is a while before. You're looking for... It's not there.
Ah, fantastic.
Yeah, they're missing 2 pages.
The last page at least as well. Fantastic, even better.
I'll just do a quick print screen for you. Hang on, I need to bring up paint. So, it turns out G1 is the source of all life.
Wow.
So G1 is based on something that was mentioned back in the day of old Marvel, and has been forgotten so very, very many times.
And not by one man, though.
not by one man who probably looks as Chris McFeely as some sort of right. But
I don't know. I think I think John Paul, not John Paul. I think John Barber looks at this man and goes, "He's my senpai." Maybe he goes, "He's my sensei."
Teach me your ways.
I must know of the great board of continuity. Because this is like Sakamoto always does some fucking big brain play when he's writing Transformers shit.
Yeah, no, like okay, so we've got that. So this is based off of the original God.
Oh no!
Yeah, it's sad, isn't it?
It is sad. How can he's dead?
She's like in a really sad way as well.
You know what I'm gonna believe? I'm gonna believe like her memory or whatever is stored in that lollipop. That's why the lollipop lives.
Oh no! It turns white.
Ew, no.
No, it turns white like her clothes in the real world.
Oh, that'd be cute. Oh, that'd be sick. That'd be sick.
or this like there's just a little human Akane in the center of it, and like
this is assuming
that light is Akane just like coming out.
This is assuming that Sakamoto decides to go for the Gridman references rather than just like
Takara has the Gridman license now.
It does. Doesn't mean Sakamoto will go down that route.
No, but he's already done it once before.
I guess it depends how hard he wants to lean into it, though.
He made an entire room, which was basically a scene from Gridman.
He did. Don't get me wrong.
He's a good boy. So, anyway, the one is the original God. It is the equivalent of the Ubermensch gods from Marvel or DC. It created an original Unicron, which it then split in the middle to make Unicron and Primus. This is a Simon Furman creation. So this is a god no one ever talks about because it was kind of dumb. So we've got what other not jobs things. So, oh my god, there's references to Beast Wars Second. There's references to the Beast Wars Second manga. Which was a completely different animal, what little I know about it, because like they were actual animals that got hit by Anglemore energy and like turned into robots. And it ends with Big Convoy dying, but they drained Anglemore and he just turns into a regular mammoth and goes off, and they're like, he's so happy now. Also,
it's just like, I'm gonna die, help me.
There was a jellyfish princess who was literally just an anime girl with a big flowy cape that they pretended was a transformer.
So Botanica, basically.
Yeah, except more human, like big, like proper, like 80s anime princess. You know what I'm saying? Also, everyone had families. Like, Stampy had a mom, who was basically just a rabbit.
And
of course. I think there was a snail as well.
As he did.
Yeah, there was a snail and a kangaroo. Anyway, so basically this is references to everything under the fucking sun. It is fucking hard to track, but I cannot but love this. Sakamoto is my spirit animal. Because he's just lunatic. Like, he's just a lunatic. He throws in a fucking hand mode for a toy that really doesn't have one. Because fuck it, why not?
Yeah. I mean, he probably was playing with the toy and went, it's kind of like a hand. I can do something with that.
It's as convincing as the one from the 2001.
Oh, from RID? Yeah. I can see that.
I just love this kind of... I really hope this doesn't go away. Because I genuinely love what this brings to the table. And
we've always said that they always do fun stuff with this series, haven't we?
Yeah, and it's like, it's changed a lot. Like, Unite Warriors was quite different from Legends, and this is quite different from Unite Warriors in a lot of ways, but I still love them. I love them all. I love the bizarre references. I love the stupid, ecchi jokes. I love the crazy designs. I love the wonderful new ideas he comes up with. Like, this guy is a fucking genius at Transformers.
Yeah.
And I would like him to do more and bigger and wilder stuff. Like, you know, between this and that Mazinger crossover, like, the happiest Transformers experience in the last couple of years have been just the randomest, wonderful bullshit coming out of Japan.
Yeah, there's a lot of love in this.
And there really is. There really is. Like, because he gives a shit. He really gives a shit.
Yeah.
And he's
Yeah,
a
it's
lovely man to meet as well. Like, unfortunately, very shy, because the one time I met him, he couldn't speak very good English. I don't know if he can speak better now, but he seemed lovely.
To be fair, it was our fault for not speaking better Japanese.
Yeah,
one could
exactly.
argue.
Also,
Yeah.
oh no, I realized why I recognize one of the colorist's names.
Why?
It's the Kiss Players guy.
Oh my god, wow.
The really creepy looking Kiss Players guy.
Oh.
Who went, because he does Masterpiece now.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
He designed Dinobot and a few other things.
Huh.
Yeah, we should use him as the picture. For this week.
No.
I don't wanna. No, but Andy, he's such
No, that's mean though. I don't mind being mean to you. I don't want to be mean to somebody else.
He looks like what people think Michael Jackson looks like.
I don't want to be mean to like someone I don't know. It's fine if I'm mean to you.
I know, but he made Kiss Players. It's fine. And I just find Kiss Players funny. I am not offended by it, but
to be fair, a lot of people are offended by it, and I can understand why.
I was going to say a lot of people are offended by everything, but let's be honest, Kiss Players is something with a lot of blinking in Japan. Yeah. It's a lot of people in Japan are blinking at Kiss Players.
That's the difference where it's like when there's something legit to be a bit like, ooh,
the
bro,
people at
I don't know.
Flame Toys are blinking at Kiss Players.
Most people look at it and go, bro.
Like,
I don't know.
The people who drew the most obnoxious anime boobs you can think of are looking at Kiss Players going like, I think you've gone too far, man.
Yeah, maybe reel it in just a little smidge.
And he's going like, well, they're all supposed to be in their 20s. That's not helping. Because Megatron's tongue shouldn't do that. Oh, man. But yeah. This made me so happy. This genuinely made me happy to read through. It really did.
It always makes me happy because whenever I see this artwork appear on the websites, I'm always like, I'm in for a fun time this week on Moonbase when Mikey tells me what's going on.
And it's just such nice art as well.
Yeah, it's always great. I always think the only detriment to the artwork is how much is squeezed onto one panel. Sometimes it feels like a page can be a little bit overcrowded and it's not given enough space to breathe. But I think that's just due to how many pages are allowed to be made.
Yep.
So I get it, but man, I'd like bigger ones, bigger pages.
I'd love for there to be as someone who occasionally gets tired of the whole like make 100 issues of a manga kind of thing. I would love if Sakamoto was doing an ongoing Transformers manga where he had complete, like, without having the toy thing in it, he can tell any story he wants. Because I don't know.
I think the toy thing is a nice way to focus a story in a way, but I understand where you're coming from as well.
Because like I want to see him play with the characters he wants to play with, and the reference.
Yeah, I can see that.
He has all these references he wants to do, and he throws as many of them in. I want to see that where he's not limited to I have to use XYZ because they're in the toy line at the moment. I want to see.
Yeah, that's fair.
I'd love to see him do like a volume or a 4-volume or whatever story, or just like this is the crazy shit when the gloves come up. This is the crazy shit when I've got someone like watching everything I do. Like this is the crazy shit I can do when I'm on my own. Like that's what I'd love to see.
I'd be okay with that.
I'd love to commission him again, but my god, it's difficult.
Same, yeah.
Commissioning him wasn't the hard bit. Paying him was the hard bit.
I remember you saying that was the hardest bit. You got someone to finally get in contact with him, but then it was what was the reason it was difficult to pay him? Was he wouldn't accept the money until it was done or something?
No, he wouldn't accept the money until it was done as well. That was one of them. And he was really uncomfortable with PayPal at the time.
Oh,
so we were trying different things, but like communication was really slow because I was going through a third party.
Obviously, yeah.
And it was just like it went on for a while.
Yeah. It was worth it though.
Yeah.
A good piece.
Yeah, I wanted it really once I saw it. I was just like, I didn't know.
I'm not surprised.
Fuck it.
I got technically the unfinished bonus bit as well.
Yeah, because he felt guilty because it took too long in his opinion, so he felt guilty and drew you an extra one.
Yeah, it was really good as well. Yeah. Yeah, I'd love to get another commission from him. Be really cool. But yeah.
If he ever does like online commissions for people on this side of the pond, I am fucking running and I am thinking of every crazy thing I've seen in the legends and everything else. You know
what you should do? You should get like either a girl version of Shattered Glass Prime into Akane. That'd be fun.
Yeah. Oh man.
Or you could get like the SD World Jiao-chan, the Kshatriya.
Oh yeah.
You could get that as well. That'd be pretty neat. Yeah, especially since you kind of like that little little line, which we'll talk about later on in the show as well, definitely.
But no.
But yeah.
Seriously.
It'd be nice. Yeah.
Can I just say, I know this isn't in the form of a manga, but can I thank the people who have started translating these, like, by panel and stuff like that? Because you make my life so much easier.
Yes, do you remember earlier on when it was just, this is what Google Translate says? And both you and I were like, oh no. Oh no. I mean, it's what both you and I could do at best, but it's like, this is not a coherent story.
Yeah. But no, seriously, I'm really grateful, and this brings me such joy. And this is a dumb thing I'll never forget the Megatronia comic, because I hadn't laughed that hard in a long time, because it was
fun.
We need combiner powers. What are you going to do? I'm going to emasculate these robots by cutting off their combiner joints and stealing their juice.
It was so weird.
As Mega Empress is doing the "I'm showing you my boobs" pose to hypnotize Megatron, and it fucking worked. That's the thing. It fucking worked.
Hell yeah.
And Mayor Megatron, I mean, you and I, we love the boy.
Yeah.
He's a good boy.
He is. He did nothing wrong. He actually tried to do everything right.
Yeah, and give Nightbird a fucking character. It was a character where she can't stand up for 4 minutes straight without hurting herself, but it was a fucking character.
Exactly, it's fun. Again, it was a fun one.
Anyway, I just have a real strong urge to go back and, like, look at them all again, but...
It's a problem because they're not really easily to find them in one place where they're all in order, where they're all translated. It's faffy.
Yeah, but I might do it.
I wouldn't blame you, sir. Shall I move us on, though, Mr. Mikey?
Please do.
All right, we've got 2 bits of Masterpiece news. One is, I guess, more interesting than the other, maybe. I guess, depending your opinion on things. So, Masterpiece Skids. We've got great prototypes for him. We have 2. We have one of him in his little camper truck mode. I really hope they don't have those windows on his car mode as translucent, because it is very easy to see where all of the robot goes otherwise. Please tint those. Otherwise, that's going to look wonky.
Yeah.
And the other masterpiece that was revealed was we have the MPM-12 Bumblebee movie Optimus Prime. So we've got another Optimus Prime, baby. I know you were gagging for a new one because we were in that dread phase where we hadn't had an Optimus Prime in 12 minutes. So here's another one for you.
Yeah.
So which one do you want to talk about first, Mikey? Is it probably best to talk about Skids because we only have 2 images for that?
Yeah.
All right. What do you think then, Mikey? We only have, like I say, the 2 images of him, so there's not a huge amount.
I can sum it up by something I saw on Twitter today, which was someone said, is the fact that we're getting a Skids like the sign that the Masterpiece line kind of needs to end? And someone going like,
God, yes.
What's wrong with Skids? And my response to that being, what's right with Skids? Yeah, I mean, it's the guy.
He's in that one episode.
As a chair. And he was one of the first Transformers to have an interspecies relationship where he got soaped down by an attractive woman.
I don't remember that.
Oh, I have a story to tell. But,
no.
Yeah. Oh, yes. But I mean, he doesn't look bad. He looks kind of like Skids, and the problem with Skids is really boring looking.
The thing is with Skids is he's like a really, really old Diaclone figure. I mean, if you scroll down, they've got a picture of his original toy from Cybertron, and you go, "Yep." I mean, it looks like that. With most of the flaws, it looks like the G1, the original Diaclone toy, but with more joints, and it might have a little bit of a nicer transformation to it. But I don't think they've really nailed the animation look for him, to be honest.
Not really.
Which is weird because that's the entire aesthetic for the current Masterpiece. Oh my God! Wow, he's getting lathered by a lady.
Look at her lean in.
She is leaning in all the way.
And before anyone says anything, that's Marvel, kids. Marvel issue
20.
It
is. Yeah.
Written by Bob Budiansky.
Weird. But this I like if you told me that this was a third party attempt at a Masterpiece, I'd think that'd be more than the case than you telling me this is an official one. It doesn't look like it has the polish of a finished one.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I have to admit, I am kind of like, Skids?
Yeah, well, they're doing all of season 1-ish at the moment. I think he was season 1.
No, he's mid-season 2. He's in the Perceptor wave.
Then I don't know why you choose Skids.
I would do Perceptor. If you're going to do an Autobot, I'd do. There's tons of other characters I do, but
do someone interesting.
Yeah, like quite a lot of characters were interesting. I do Gears before I do Skids.
He had more interesting episodes and was featured in those episodes even more so.
I do Brawn just for the one where he picked on Perceptor.
Oh yeah, that could be good. Yeah. I don't think we've had a Mirage yet either, have we?
No, we haven't. I know there's some licensing stuff, which is why we don't have a Jazz, but
right. I wonder if that's the reason why, because it's like easy to get the license for Skids thing.
Yeah,
maybe. Yeah. I don't know. It's one of those weird things where you always you make a good point when you bring up the licensing, because it's like until you get to season 3 and they just go alien shit. Who gives a fuck? It probably is a thing you have to consider, unfortunately. So maybe this is the reason, which is silly. I don't know. I don't think there's much else to say left on Skids. So Mikey, masterpiece movie, Optimus Prime from the Bumblebee movie. We see quite a few images of him. He was revealed in a glass box or a plastic case on the Transformers Weibo and Taobao page. So I guess, what do you think, Mikey? We see he has a turny head. He has an articulated head. That is a feature that is featured on the back of the box for some reason. He has articulated hands, an articulated chest piece, a matrix of leadership, and a blast storage. These are all the features that they mention on the back of the box, which is kind of lame, I will say.
He didn't have a matrix.
He does now. Mikey, he's Optimus Prime. He has a matrix.
Hey, what is it a weird thing that goes into your sock and like revives the dead?
Oh God, Revenge of the Fallen, maybe. That was the Matrix, wasn't it?
That gets stolen in the next movie for no reason. Which they suddenly start going like, it's the Autobot Matrix of Leadership. That was not the Matrix of Leadership. It was the Matrix because you found it in a pyramid and Optimus had never held it.
Yep.
Those movies had continuity, I was told once.
No.
No. I mean, okay, so something weird. It's an Earth mode.
It is, yes.
Now, there's not a huge difference between the Earth mode design and like the Cybertronian design.
Okay.
But why? Why he, Mike. I don't like the truck mode's little rabbit ears, or the little cat ears.
Yeah, why does it have rabbit ears?
I don't know.
That just a problem because of the transformation and what it has to do? Because if that's the case, that's weird. Was that in the original Earth design?
No, because it was just a normal truck.
That's what I thought.
I don't know. Maybe they wanted it to look Cybertronian. Maybe this is supposed to be Cybertronian, but...
No, that can't be true.
I don't know. I mean, I also don't... For a masterpiece, I think that's a really unclean back of the truck.
It kind of is, yeah.
That's very... I don't know.
Do you feel that they made a, in quotations, gun storage to cover it up, to try and hide it? Because that's how it feels.
I think so. Looking at the robot mode... It doesn't look right. I'm not sure why. I think it's
the paint? Is it too clean?
The face looks too flat from the front. I think it's because it's a bit too dark, and the fact there's like truck kibble and everything else on the arms means that from certain angles he looks way too boxy.
Yeah.
The legs look okay, and I think that just the core chest, but it's the arms and the heads that are throwing me, or the arms and the head that's throwing me off. And I like the Bumblebee design. I do. I think I think that's kind of what people kind of expected Optimus to look like from the start. But this just looks a bit cheap, to be completely honest. And I was thinking, like, you can get one of the 3-0 figures, the smaller one, I think, for probably comparative master. But let me just see. How much is that? Okay, how did that convert? Because the first website it was in Hong Kong dollars, and that's not good for me. We'll do it $2. whatever. Fuck it.
Yeah, I like how you're just muttering now.
Fuck it. Okay. So you could probably get like one of them, because there is a smaller one. You can probably get that for a couple of $100.
Okay.
Depending who you buy from.
Sure, yeah.
Which is about Masterpiece prices. Like, cheap Masterpiece, and I think Studio Series tends to go for like the 150 realm, I think. If I wanted...
sounds right, yeah.
If I wanted one that looked like the movie, I would probably try to get a deal on the 301. And if I wanted transforming, this is one where I think the third parties have eclipsed it already.
It kind of looks it, yeah.
I feel very underwhelmed. I like that we're getting a Bumblebee figure. I'm annoyed it's not Shatter or Dropkick. Because fuck you.
You mean it's still not Shatter or Dropkick?
Yeah, it still is not Shatter and Dropkick.
Yeah.
Who are the best.
I don't think even third parties have done them, have they?
No. There's supposed to be a model kit coming out from the same guys who did that Bumblebee. That I will pick up at some point, but it looks okay.
Okay.
But like we haven't heard anything about them. What I might do, to be honest, is hold out to see what the story is with Chad and Dropkick, and then decide if I'll pick up Bumblebee. But
right.
I wasn't expecting to be this underwhelmed.
No, I remember seeing the story and being like, I think, to be honest, it doesn't help that it is Optimus Prime Burnout as well.
Absolutely,
to be honest,
absolutely
at least for
not.
you and me. For other people who are still all into the Primes and whatnot, I'm sure they're either fairly happy or kind of blasé, depending on their feelings about the Optimus movie Bumblebee thing. That'll be the defining factor for how people take this. But since neither you nor I are desperately into either of those aspects, it's not a good place for either of us, I would say. So yeah, Masterpiece toys, kind of meh, at least for us, at least for me and the Mikey.
Yeah.
So Mikey, I want things to make me laugh. Can you give me things to make me laugh?
I mean, I can personally, sure.
Oh, good, yeah.
I mean, I watched something very funny during the week.
Ooh, we'll have to talk about that later then.
But I could give you that. I liked it. I mean, you want Transformer things to make you laugh?
I guess. Apparently, that's what I want.
I could give you more Legend stuff. I could ask Sakamoto what he can do.
I'd actually wouldn't be against that, to be honest.
Or I could see if they're going to do like a Mazinger versus Transformers 2.
I'm less interested in that. It was okay, but I'm less interested.
Yeah. So Nickelodeon, and we have announcements for the next young Transformers show, shall we say? Transformers shows, shall we say? Which led to me getting mansplained that on the Twitter last night, which was very strange.
What do you mean?
Oh, we'll get to it.
How are you mansplained? Oh, okay,
okay.
Sorry.
So Nickelodeon have announced that they are working together with Entertainment One, which is the new Hasbro TV division, or media division, to create the next Transformers show. So this is an action comedy series, and it is on Nickelodeon. Many warning bells from the Nickelodeon thing. This is going to be about a new species of Transformers who must find their place and purpose among Autobots, Decepticons, and humans. It's been confirmed these are going to be 26 episode, half hours, so standard length shows that are going to be on Nickelodeon, rolling out internationally. Now, apart from Nicole Duboc, most of the creative team that have been announced, and they're not all here. One of the writers, she was up on Twitter. She's a new writer to TV. But most of them are coming from off of Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Oh.
Now, there are pluses and minuses to that. Art style for that in general was what I would call iffy. Animation for the action bits, if the same company's doing the animation, for the action was stellar. Like, it was one of those things where I was like, I don't like the designs, but I'm really enjoying watching the movement. Very dynamic. I saw a fan clip done by one of the animators actually who did like Aaron versus Vegeta, and it was so well animated.
Oh, okay.
Like, it was really well animated. Like the guy, like I won't say trigger level, but like trigger clearly trigger influenced.
Sure.
So I have really mixed feelings about that because I don't want them to look like they did in that show, but I would really like the animation to be that fluid, and I would like that animator to get more work.
I imagine there'll have to be some kind of cutbacks, though, right? Just because of time constraints versus him doing his own project.
Absolutely.
Or them doing their own project.
Also, this is going to be twice the length of a typical Revenge of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles episode, which means there will be padding, and like they probably won't be able to have as much action as they would have.
So are they going to be actual TV episodes? Or are they going to still be like
Nickelodeon
Teen Titans Go level of episodes?
Just 26 episode, half-hour series, Nickelodeon.
Oh, so they're real cartoons. Okay.
Well,
that's something.
Yeah. Many, many warning signs on this.
Yeah.
So, 1. Action comedy.
Mm.
Nickelodeon does not have a great record for the writing in their comedies.
What do you mean?
In the last 10 years.
What do you mean?
They're frequently not funny. And before someone says, like, you're too old for it, I'm just like, I don't care, it's still not funny.
No.
Secondly, Nickelodeon and action, otherwise known as the thing they keep, and this is not an exaggeration, actively trying to kill every time they get a license.
What do you mean? What about Avatar Last Ember? That was good.
Yeah, in 2004.
Are you telling me they've had nothing else since then?
I'm telling. Hey, Andy, remember Korra? That show that other people liked. Remember what they did?
You should have just said yes. That's what I was saying.
Yeah. For anyone who doesn't know, Korra something really weird started happening with Korra, where it started being put on at really odd times.
The death slot.
And then it all got taken off the death slot, moved completely online, and cancelled early.
Yeah, it was like the last season's 3 or 4, 5 episodes were put online right at the last minute.
Yep. There was no other way of watching them. Then there was 2 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle series. One of which went for 7 years, which was really, really good.
That was the CGI one, wasn't it?
No, that was the 2003 one. That went on for 7 seasons.
Oh, that was a really good one. Yeah, that was great.
Now, the CGI one, 2012, that was incredibly well reviewed. And I, while I have some issues in the last season, I think it's fair to say most of that show is pretty damn solid.
I would agree. Yeah.
Never forget the Dream Beavers. But,
oh God, yeah.
But so this really well reviewed, really solid show that started slipping into death slots, that started having unexplained long breaks.
Yeah.
And other things. Now, I happen to know a few people who got me a bit of background information, and this happened with Power Rangers as well. When they had the license, it started slipping into weird slots and bad timings, and got cancelled. They sold it the first chance they get, and Turtles got cancelled. The last season of the Turtles is really weird because of something from Nickelodeon's side in terms of the story. Because they didn't really know how much they had, so they just made up a bunch of short things, and they got told their episode count.
Right. So they weren't able to do effectively a proper story. They kind of had to wing small ones because they didn't have a full. Oh, that's fascinating.
There are large, powerful people in Nickelodeon who really despise action animation.
Clearly,
they don't. But this is something I know for a fact. Again, I've spoken to enough people over the years that have gathered a few things, and certainly up until recently, Rise of the you know what show apparently got cancelled early? Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
A show that neither of you or I liked from a story aspect, but respected on an animation level.
Yeah. And again, it started getting put on at really weird times, and eventually got shanked. Also the distribution of that show was ridiculous. I think it was 6 episodes, 4 months off, another 6 episodes, 4 months off, another 6 episodes, or something like that.
Oh, they did that with Transformers Prime for a little bit around season 2.
Yeah, but this was for the whole show.
Yeah.
Basically, you could never predict when it was going to be on. And it seems there is someone in a high position in Nickelodeon who hates anything with action and really doesn't want to have it on their channel. But they own all these licenses. And you can't let a license fade out. You have to use it or you will lose it. Literally.
Yeah.
So they make them because they have to.
Oh, you mean like the Fantastic Four movies back in the day?
Yeah. Exactly like that. So I'm
Yeah.
really nervous about putting something on Nickelodeon, who apparently have opened Avatar Studios for Avatar-related media.
Oh, you mean the swath of Avatar-related media years and years after even Korra was finished?
Yeah. Apparently they're planning.
Wow, what a
all
time to
sorts of
clock
things.
on.
Yeah, all sorts of things. I
Jesus.
Yeah. Also, apparently the live-action movie is aging up Katara and aging down Sokka. And keeping Aang the same age. So that romance is about to go from, oh, it's sweet, but as an adult you're occasionally like, oh yeah, they're kids, to, oh, statutory rape. Because he's 12 and she's 16.
What she's meant to be? Oh, okay. Okay. I mean, I don't know how else to
Boy, I'm
respond
looking
to
forward to that adaptation of that famous kiss scene from the Fire Island episode with this awkward 12-year-old, these real life people having to do this.
Marine lurking in the background.
Yes, good.
I love my Shota boys, says Marine.
No, that's Susei.
Is this? Oh, that's right. It's
Yeah.
Suisei.
No, she'll be
likes
going
the
like,
Shotas.
I'm not into them as she slowly gets closer and closer and closer.
I hate this.
Is that a camera? No, it's not. I'll kill you. I'll kill you dead. Oh god, she's got a gun. And in the distance you just hear a Hachima and you all just start fucking running. But, so I'm really concerned about this Nickelodeon series. And I said, like, I would, like, someone said, like, a meme was made during the week of just, like, you know that thing of the guy looking at a woman walking away and his girlfriend's next to him?
Oh, yeah.
And someone did one, like, mainstream, relatively cheap, easy to access American thing as a woman walking forward. Hasbro was the guy, and the girlfriend was acclaimed Japanese studio with a ton of Transformers fans and an ability to make an incredible show. And like looking at him, and I just did the thing like Studio Trigger, please.
Yeah, you mean Trigger? That's really sad because they could do something really good with it. I bet they're expensive though. I bet that's the reason why they're not hired. That'll be the only reason Trigger isn't picked up, because I bet they're like, oh, you have to pay some money.
They probably have someone like standing outside Takara's door with a little sign saying, I will not be moved. I work for Studio Trigger. But I just said, like I said, like I would love for Studio Trigger to do an anime. And Protoman on Twitter, he basically said, like, it's been since 2007 or 2005 really since we've had a Japanese Transformers show, and it's time.
That's true.
And I thought, like, you know what, with some of the studios that are out there now, if you want to do your mature, your older aimed Transformers show, stop giving it to Western writers and having bloody Polygon or Tatsunoko animated. Give it over to someone like Trigger or Ufotable or someone with in-house writers and in-house animators, and let them go to town.
I guess the problem with giving it to... Well, I suppose it depends what the market would be.
Yeah.
If it would be to give it to Trigger for a Japanese market to do, it would be made for young kids, because we've said it hundreds of times, it's a super young kid show in Japan.
Yeah.
If it was given to Trigger, but it was specifically given to Trigger to be an American show...
Or an international one, maybe.
Yeah, it might be done differently.
Yeah, like,
it would have a chance.
I think one thing you could do, like, because with Gridman, that was, like, they basically made a case that they could make something that would appeal to adults. Like, that was one of their thing, because one of the Super Riot didn't really want to license Gridman to them.
And they really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, they had to make an argument saying, like, listen, we're all major fans, we love this thing, and we know that this is a kid's property, but we can make it appeal to the kid and the adult who watched this.
Wait, why didn't they want to give it to Trigger?
Because, like, Super Riot was really, really strict about what kind of things were made about Ultraman. And like,
okay, so it was more being protective of the license than not trusting Trigger, because I would have thought at that point Trigger's but proven.
It is a young person show. It has to follow strictly young person things. It has to do this. There can be none of this.
Right.
And then Trigger said, like, listen, we're going to put in stuff that you wouldn't usually want in, but we're going to do it incredibly well, and we are going to make this appeal to the older people, and we are going to make a collector market. We're going to appeal to a collector market. And the collector market for Gridman is very good. To the point
it's just a shame that there's not a lot of stuff that's of good quality, one might argue.
I'm very curious about that model kit that came out a while ago, and Takara's doing some stuff as well now. So, and, like, you know, it got to the stage where Tsuburaya basically had to agree that, yes, you can license body pillows of Akane because people were making so many off-license Akane body pillows. That's a real thing. That really happened. And I said in thing like I would love if just like hand it over to Trigger, let them make that pitch and say like, listen, we're not going to sell it to kids. We're making a collector market thing, and we're gonna find the kids who are us, the adults who if they could be in our shoes, they would be, because we are all giant Transformers nerds, and we are going to make a show for them, and it's going to rock your socks off. I was like, that would be amazing. I would be
hoping that Hasbro would even take the risk to make just a adult show.
Yeah,
but for actually spending money on it.
Yeah, absolutely, because they need a budget.
I'm going to insult them and saying, hey, the adult show, the
immature
Game of Thrones of Transformers is garbage.
Yes.
It's had no money put behind it compared to an actual TV show, but it's garbage. Garbage. So it would be nice if you do a proper adult show that you actually, I don't know, put a little bit of money behind it. A little bit would be nice.
Like, I know Prime came out at a weird time, but that did show what you can do when there's a budget behind things, to be blunt.
Exactly, yeah. That wasn't even adult. That was like, I don't know, 12 to 15 maybe-ish demographic, and that was so good.
Yeah.
That was really well done.
Yeah. And then I suddenly get someone on Twitter going on at me about like, listen, if Hasbro if all the anime ones sucked, I don't know why you want one. I'm just like, well, I said in the thing that I would really like to just see what, like, if you could give them creative freedom to do what they want to do, it would be great. Like, Studio Trigger, Ufotable, like, oh god, I went through like 3 or 4 different studios.
Madhouse.
Madhouse would, oh my god. Mappa, I don't think Mappa has the best animation, but I would like, they do have good writers.
You say that, but Mappa's getting a lot of shit at the moment. Mappa has a lot of anime behind them at the moment. I would agree they're not the best in the business, but I think they are a good top tier animation studio.
Yeah. And then he just like, and then he started like trying to explain anime to me.
What do you mean?
It was like, listen, anime, which is for it to be what you want, it would have to be an anime. That means it's produced and written in Japan. What you're what would, you know, I'm saying what we would get, what you probably think we're going to get is like something written by Western audiences and animated in Japan, and that's what we've been getting with Siege and stuff like that. And I didn't know what to say to that, because
I don't.
I was just like, that's what we got for all of them, you dumbass. They're either Korean or they're Japanese. Those are the animation studios that work on Transformers.
I want to believe that there was miscommunication.
I really hope so, because someone's trying to explain what anime is to me, Andy.
Yeah. No, I'm gonna hope for the best and hope that it was just miscommunication and not understanding each other.
What is animu?
I don't know. It's pain. It's Peko pain.
Peko?
Pain.
Is that animu? So yeah. But yeah, I gather you're not super excited for this.
No, when I heard Nickelodeon, I was like, oh, that's not good. And then I heard comedy, I went, oh, no, please, God, no more comedy shows. I'm fucking sick of comedy shows, at least kids' ones at the moment. I'm tired of them.
I just don't think they're funny.
Every Western, well, I'd go with that's subjective, but I wouldn't say you're wrong. Personally, I wouldn't say you're wrong, but from a more moderate standpoint, humor's a subjective thing. So
my cartoon humor was built in the 90s, for Christ's sake. I have a very different appeal of what.
Yeah, no, I would agree there, but the subjectivity of humor and whatnot. But yeah, I look at all of the, in quotation, comedy shows like Teen Titans Go and the ilk, and I just go, please, I can't, not anymore.
No
so
more
I hear
jokes,
another one's
please.
coming out, and I'm like, no more. The only benefit is, or the only kind of boon that you kind of gave me there was, it's not going to be a 10-minute episode affair. It's going to be an actual show. Yeah. So that in itself is something. It's not a ray of hope, but it is fucking something.
I really hope it's 2D. Like, if you've got the guys between Rise doing some of the animation and everything else, like, don't force it to be 3D. Because the Rugrats thing is terrifying.
Oh, I saw that. What the hell is that? Why? Why is that a thing?
So when I knew they were doing a 3D Rugrats, I assumed they were updating the designs.
Same.
Not taking the very specific, made by that designer, like the same guy who did Thornberries and Real Monsters and stuff like that, and then converting that to 3D. Holy crap, Angelica looks like a monster. Yeah,
to be fair, a lot of those designs are very fucking weird. Like, if you try to make them 3D, which is why It's 2-dimensional. I mean, it was done in an era where 2D was more of a thing, but I think, you know,
I thought they'd redesign
it speaks for
them.
itself.
I thought they'd smooth out the lines and stuff, but they didn't.
No. Then it kind of also makes you wonder, then why do they even bother, you know? I don't know.
But that's not the only TV news, Andy.
Isn't it?
No, bitch.
Jesus.
We have 2 bits of news from Netflix. The first is confirmed because everyone thought this was the BotBox cartoon.
Same. I did for a bit as
well.
well.
And then Netflix came out and confirmed that it is not the BotBox cartoon. The BotBox cartoon is going to be exclusively Netflix. It is going to be based around the BotBox concept exclusively. This is going to be a 20-episode animated comedy series. Oh, we haven't had one of those. Following the mischievous little bots. Coming from Kevin Burke and Chris Wyatt, who worked on Spider-Man, Transformers Rescue Bots Academy, Stretch Armstrong.
Which Spider-Man?
Just says Spider-Man. I'm not Googling. You're not my boss.
Concerning.
These are going to be the producers and showrunners. Well, it's not Greg Wiseman, so... So, it gives an overview of BotBots. We're all delighted to be there. Isn't it amazing? But yeah, BotBots, which is going to be the younger kids' goofy fun thing, which is fine.
Sure.
It's probably going to be aiming at the same crowd like My Little Pony or something like that. And
I'm concerned about the actual focus of the comedy. Is it going to be smart and fun, or is it going to be, in my opinion, stupid?
I can't tell you if it'll be stupid. I can tell you.
No, I know, obviously.
That
sure.
I will probably not find it funny.
Agreed, sure.
I'd be surprised. I'm expecting it to be aimed older than Rescue Bots, but I'm not expecting it to be aimed much older than Rescue Bots. Which doesn't bother me, really. As long as it's fun for what... the thing about the Transformer shows that I don't like is I think they're bad for what they are, regardless of target audience. I just think they're bad. It's not if something's good, and I think like My Little Pony, I think is good for what it is, but it's not something I would ever find the need to really sit down and spend a lot of time with.
No, that's fair. I can see that.
But I appreciate it for what it is, especially in terms of demographics and everything else.
I think that applies to Rescue Bots as well.
Yeah,
it was a show that neither I had any interest in, but after watching an episode, you went, okay, yeah, for the really young audience, it's a perfectly good show. It's fine.
It attracts some adults, and they did like it, and fair play to them.
Yeah, totally.
But listen, if that's what it turns out to be, I'm perfectly fine.
Oh my god.
But anyway, the other bit of news from Netflix is we have confirmation that Transformers Cybertron Trilogy Kingdom will be out in July 2021. We do not have a concrete...
Oh, thank God.
Yeah, so excited. Yeah, I've been asked again if we're reviewing it, and I just sort of said, I probably, unless there is a dramatic shift, I would struggle to.
So basically, someone sent you a message saying, so Mikey, do you want to cut your wrists today? And you went, I don't know.
I will watch it, but I probably don't want to spend an hour or two trying to find things to say well, it's basically the other two.
I mean, I'll probably do something because I feel like something should be done for it, but I would ask people to please not expect me to say anything
meaningful.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Yeah, I don't think I'll say anything desperately meaningful, but unless something amazing happens, Mikey.
If it turns out
it's a great show, or it somehow drops even further in quality, which I almost kind of hope is the case. I hope it gets worse.
Yeah, no, if it's terrible, that's worth talking about in a weird way, at least once.
Yeah.
Anyway, Andy,
Mikey,
take us on.
All right, let me move you on, Mikey, to a thing called Transformers Generation Nightmare Fuel. Because if you remember, we talked about Generation Select. Apparently, it had a listing a while ago. I can't remember when we actually talked about it. Having a listing for Transmutate, and you and I were like, "Oh, what are they going to do for Transmutate? Are they going to do a new mold? Are they going to use these female molds?" And no, the answer obviously was they're going to do a slight remold and retool to Paleotrex. Was that its name, Paleotrex?
Yeah.
Yeah, the weird dinosaur thing. And they'll make what they've done is they've made that into Transmutate. It is up for pre-order now for $20 US. Will be released in July to August potentially, unless delays happen or all that kind of jazz.
Yeah.
And it's got a load of translucent pieces, so that's a bit of a twisty up your face, going, "Ooh, is it gonna be okay? Who can say?" It does have a new head, which the mouth does open, so it can scream. In a nightmare form.
Yeah.
It has it can have a very long neck, which again, slightly nightmarish. I think what do you oh no, it's not translucent. I lied. I thought it was translucent. It is just turquoise paint. But sorry, plastic. Turquoisey plastic.
Yeah.
And some spray over. So that is something. It's not translucent. So arguably a more stable figure potentially. What do you think of Transmutate, Mikey? Because I don't think this is a terrible idea, but I will 100% say that it is creepy as fuck.
Definitely creepy as fuck.
Yes.
I am annoyed by the colors.
Why?
They're wrong.
What do you mean?
Well, they're brown.
It's kind of a goldish brown.
Goldish brown with a light turquoise. Transmutate is silver with a very deep turquoise. And like a very distinct silver as well, with like a very mild gold sheen.
To be fair, the CG model I would argue wasn't silver, but I would say it was a much duller gold than it is. It was like the hue and saturation should be turned down quite a bit for the Transmutate toy. And again, I think the same with the turquoise.
Do you know?
It's almost in the right area, but it needs to be a more green and greyish colour than bright.
And also, I look at this, I don't see Transmutate. I know the head is at least somewhat like the same basic shade. I look at this and I see the hybrid from Alien 4.
I saw like people putting up comparison pictures and I went, ooh, it really is that, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's like kind of funny. That's the case.
I mean, it's definitely original, and it leads to the T-Rex mode having a little head crest, which I find funny. But I don't know what to take. What do you take from this? What do you take from this? It's
I guess it's the best they could do with what they had available.
Right?
I
mean, I again would have used one of the females. I think one of the Cara girls would have been better. Maybe not like not ideal, but better.
I guess doing this, though, gives it the weird misshapen look it kind of had in the show, which I guess is what they were aiming for.
I definitely think that was the idea, but...
Yeah.
It's just like, are people going to buy 5 of these and mix them together? Because, Jesus Christ.
Oh, that'd be amazing. Please do that, somebody. Somebody needs to be that crazy. Also, this does have a feature which you can do, which happened in the show as well, Mikey.
Yeah, you can pull up because the head is actually a mace, you can pull up the neck and it can go beep boop.
Oh, no, that's not what I meant. I meant you could pull apart the toy when it she explodes.
Yeah, you can murder her.
Yeah.
No Rampage or Silverbolt for her to hang out with.
Not yet. Hopefully, I say one day, but I don't think that's probably going to happen, to be honest. But yeah.
It's fuck me.
It's weird.
Yeah.
It sure is weird. Yeah, not entirely against it, but it is strange. I guess this is probably something more what Generation Select should do.
Yeah, no, like I appreciate the idea. I'm staring at it and going like, what?
Yes, I don't think it's a criticism of what it is, apart from some aspects, obviously, which we take issue with. But it is, I think this is the more interesting stuff than doing a Diaclone version of Sideswipe again, or something like that.
It's basically G2 Sideswipe, but not the one you want.
Yeah, not the interesting one. So, yeah, this is the thing. They've got a load of other things about it, but they're really not worth talking about because, it's stuff you probably already know, like articulation points and all that jazz. So, since Mikey's done a few back-to-back, I'll take the last story. Well, the last two, because they're pretty much small ones. So, if you are in the market, in America, of course, for the Shout Factory Transformers line, which is the Transformers Japanese collection, Transformers Headmasters, Master Force, and Victory. I think the Japanese collection was all of them bundled together, and then you could get them individually. Beast Wars Season 1 and compilation title, which I imagine means Season 2 and 3? I guess.
Yes.
I don't know. Beast Machines, the complete season, which is 1 and 2. Robots in Disguise, 2015, seasons 1 and 3 compilation titles. The compilation titles are just going to be random episodes blobbed together.
I get
Beast Wars got both seasons done for Shout Factory, didn't it?
Yeah, there's a complete box art out there.
I wonder why it's listed as season 1.
Maybe because that's the only one they're offering.
Maybe.
Because they're not offering like G1 or anything here.
That's true. And Transformers Rescue Bots, which is 6 compilation titles, are all going to be going out of print. They're going on out of print sale at the moment. So if you're in the market for those ones, go and get them. I said I would like a Blu-ray version that was non-region based for the Beast Wars stuff, because it is a pain to get my crappy, kind of slightly broken region-free DVD player to work now.
Yeah.
With because I have the Rhino Blu-ray DVDs.
I was going to say there's the EU one, but I don't know if that'll play in the UK.
No, I don't think it will. I think they have a different region, but I'm not entirely sure, to be honest. I could be wrong there. But again,
after
that
Brexit, you were all the same, but then we changed it all. We've all secretly changed region on you.
Oh god,
we don't want to be friends anymore.
Be a thing. That might be a thing. Hey, if they changed our Blu-ray region to region 1, that would be amazing. It wouldn't happen though, because I think marketing is an issue more so than anything. But I wish they didn't region lock Blu-rays. At least there was an easy, accessible Blu-ray player. But I think because more people are moving into digital formats, unfortunately, it's not going to be as widespread as like region-free DVD players, which is a bummer. Either way, if you're in the market for the American versions of these DVDs, get them now while you can, or suck an egg, basically.
Yeah,
or
at least be aware that these are going to be harder to pick up after that.
Yes, agreed.
They're running out of print. I would say if you're a Transformers fan, pick up the Japanese collection at least, because at least from the sake of history or something like that, you know?
Yeah, and then that's unlikely to get a Blu-ray release, I would say.
And those shows have a good one in the middle.
They do. Yeah. They have a bad one, a good one, and a mediocre one.
And one we pick out elements we like of and forget the rest.
Was that Victory?
That would be Victory.
Yeah, I thought so. Unfortunately, Headmasters is just pretty blech.
Oh, it's pretty bad.
It's pretty blech.
But one advantage, Shout Factory do have the Star Dubs on there, so it does get better.
Oh,
Headmasters does get better if you watch it like that.
Well, it depending on what your tastes are and thing. It sparkles. The last story for the week is, Mikey, we have Walmart listings for vintage Beast Wars figures, which apparently is a thing that's coming up. So if you're in the market for a Transformers Generation Beast Wars, I don't know why it has generations, but it does. Vintage Optimus Primal, vintage T-Rex Megatron, vintage Rat Trap, and vintage Cheetor. They will be available. I do wonder how long these lines are going to last, because we had was it 15th anniversary, like years and years ago, which wasn't a very big line.
Yeah, we're on the 25th. You know that Cheetor that had the better paint?
Yes.
I'm wondering if that was this.
Ooh, that would be an interesting idea, but what would they do for Primal and Megatron?
Well, they are not the most show accurate in terms of their paint. Megatron's too deep. Megatron's purple's the wrong hue and everything else, so you could make them more show accurate and give them a more show. Like Megatron has stripes and stuff in the show.
Oh, that'd be interesting, because that would mean that this might be replacing the Netflix line potentially. That'd be interesting if that was the case. Yeah, maybe they'll give Rat Trap a more metallic paint job.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you could be right. I never even considered that. I just thought they might be re-releasing the vintage ones, which they still might be doing. Because they don't really have any images, so who knows? But there you go, Mikey. That's all of our news for this week, my dude.
Yeah.
So what have you been up to, Mikey? What have you done for fun, son?
I got a transmorpher.
You did? I was shocked. I was like, oh my god, you did a thing.
I got the Cyberverse Deluxe Grimlock, which is the very entertaining character from the show. And yeah, this is a great little figure. It's not perfect by a big stretch, but it's very enjoyable. It's got really good presence. Just the way he's shaped and everything else, he looks bigger than he is, even though he feels quite light. Joints are mostly pretty tight, except one of the hips is a little bit loose. but only if you like shake it. Like if you're just going for poses and stuff, holds him up perfectly well. Excellent ankles, like really, really good ankles that like really, really let for dynamic posing because they can go every direction. So really, really good there. Decent arm posability and like it looks good. Missing a few paint apps, but like everything on him that's not grey is paint, basically, except for like a couple of spots. So he's got a ton of paint in him. It's just like he's missing some of the legs, which I'm assuming is there because the legs are what you mess with most when transforming him.
That makes sense.
Transformation is a lot more complicated than you're expecting. Not a standard Grimlock transformation in how the legs work. Not a bad. There's some clever engineering there. The dinosaur mode is a brick. Does not even have knees. He's got like forwards and backwards on the legs, but
I guess that makes sense for how much you pay for him, right?
There's an interesting thing with the jaws, the dinosaur mode though. Based on friction, when you open the top half, the bottom half moves as well.
Oh, okay.
So you can like lift it up so that it splits apart and just like there. But it basically means like you kind of have a built-in jaw opening gimmick without a spring or anything like that. So you can actually get like degrees.
But it was kind of unintententional rather than a deliberate thing.
I don't know. I think it might. I can't tell you, but it feels like it probably was a bit of engineering. It's just like we just thought someone went like, oh, this might work because it like it's a very specific fit. So I can't see it being completely accidental. Apart from that, what did I do this week? I watched Back Arrow, which again is getting very interesting. They're now in the medieval country, which has the princess who's really, really nice, and I spent the entire episode staring at her going like, you're going to do something fucking weird.
Oh, I thought you were going to say something like she's going to die or something like that.
No, she's super nice. Super nice in a show written by the guy who did Gurren Lagann.
I thought you were going to say Robochi, and I was going to say, oh, so she's a psychopath who's going to kill everybody. Okay.
I mean, watch the show.
Is she going to be like Anna from Shimamenta? where she's more
Too
lusty
nice.
than she's ever known?
Too nice would be what I call Anna.
Yeah.
Too nice. That voice actress was a loss. But Anna from Shimamenta, if you haven't seen it, can be defined as being too nice.
She was very friendly.
And could pick up a tree.
She would share a lot of things about herself.
And yet she would share nothing.
Yes, it was a dichotomy, I think they say.
So yeah, I also looked into sort of Arrow's relationship to everyone else, and like he's still obsessed with his own thing, but he's kind of like, I'm kind of lonely now everyone's gone. And then you have this wonderful bit, like I really like this bit where it's like playing on the fact that a lot of the villagers kind of hate him. So when they get a chance to look like they're living somewhere nice, they all just kind of go like, fuck him. And there's only 2 or 3 characters who are like, I don't know if that's a good thing. But yeah, like a constantly evolving opening, which I'm enjoying as well. And yeah, like I like this show a lot more than I ever expected to. And I'm really getting into it. ReZero was mostly about Rosewall, Rem, and a little bit of Subaru and the mansion. Amelia got some really good bits in this as well. Amelia basically told Rosewall where to stick it. By pointing her hand at them and starting to form a big ice wall. And like considering what we'd seen in the flashback episodes, now she remembers that, I would be concerned if I was him.
Okay.
And also, it's basically Ram's perspective, which is she, despite everything else, she cares about the fucker and wants to save him from himself while he is willing to literally murder everyone around him to get a woman back who will not exactly go out of her way to show him a great deal of consideration when she comes back. Particularly since she likes Subaru better.
Mm-hmm.
Because everyone does.
Everyone wants to. He is the Catalina.
Yep.
Except goes through a lot more pain.
Yep.
And Catalina's a lot better romancing people.
Yeah, like Subaru basically just attracts people who think he's weird. They end up liking him genuinely. But
yes.
It's usually with a lot of suffering in the middle.
Yes, a lot of his suffering, for sure, definitely.
Hidden is fond of him. She's just a little bit terrifying. So yeah, and we end in a fight that should not have been as epic, like a cliffhanger for a fight. It should not have been as epic as it was, but they introduced this one element, and I won't spoil it. I put a screenshot up on Twitter, and I was just like, "Oh, you done fucked up now, son."
I'm trying to think of like the most unepic but yet epic fight. I'm thinking like the merchant guy versus the dragon bird.
Yeah, no, that would be good. The Otto versus anyone.
That's it.
A proper fight.
Otto versus the small maid girl who fancies Subaru as well.
She'd kick his ass.
Yeah, I know, but wouldn't it be an epic fight?
No, because she'd really kick his ass.
Yep, and Otto's just there crying, no, I'm
I can
Subaru's
talk to
friend.
I can talk to the bugs. Why aren't you
his
helping me,
friend.
bugs? Or Otto versus those little cat people from the first season, the teeny little cats.
I was concerned you were going to say the rabbits, and I was going to say, no, that's me, poor Otto.
It's a bunny.
No.
Pecco.
It's just one rabbit. What could go wrong?
But yeah, and then we have it set up for a big fight at the mansion, following up on the assassination by Little Miss I Like Your Insides.
Yes, she does. She does.
I'm digging Garfield a lot in this now.
Garfield, yes.
Yes, he is Garfield. He does
yes,
not like
I heard from the Trash Taste podcast that a lot of people generally found it kind of funny when he turned into a giant tiger. And it's like, yeah, well, that was maybe a poor name choice, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah. ReZero. It's good, yo.
I hear it's not bad.
It's not bad. I watched a couple of other of the regulars, but they're not jumping out at me at the moment. The sort of unusual thing I ended up watching this week, because I saw a trailer, and I remembered there was a show that was on a few years ago, and I didn't watch it because of my big isekai bias at the time. Which, God bless our lady Catalina, she got me too, I suppose. And I just saw a trailer for season 2. It's coming out in April, and I said, okay, I'll give it a go. How Not to Summon the Demon Lord.
Yeah, I saw that show.
I really liked it.
It's not bad.
It's not bad. It's not like pushing any buttons, but I liked it quite a bit.
No, it's not as good as say like Konosuba, but
no,
in terms of a weird like ecchi kind of.
Andy, we have realistic standards in this
bad.
family. We have realistic standards in this family.
Yes,
you do not put them up against the Olympics.
I mean that's fair, but I want my child to do the best it can do.
Okay, I think I think they came home. They had a medal. Wasn't the top medal. Wasn't the top award.
Yeah, but you're not a lawyer, are you? So you got to get back out there and do your homework.
But they're happy.
I'm a tiger mom. I want them to be better.
Yeah, but then
I want them to be unhappy but have an amazing job.
So you're Garfield.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, for anyone who doesn't know, it is a 13-episode anime from 2 or 3 years ago.
God, yeah.
Basics.
And you saying it's getting a second season?
Yeah, in April. That's why I saw a trailer.
Wow.
A trailer came up on my YouTube, and I was just like, oh, okay.
All right, yeah.
So from the basic story is, it takes more after Overlord than a lot of other ones. So basic
but
story
not in a
is,
bad way, thankfully.
No, it's better than Overlord considerably. It's not as pretty as Overlord.
To be fair, that's not saying much because neither you nor I like Overlord at all.
No, it is not as pretty as Overlord.
It's not done by Madhouse. Again, taking your kids to the Olympics. Come on now.
But Andy, I want them to be the best I can be.
I'm not saying you're wrong.
But the basic premise is a guy. He is a shut-in nerd, as you are, and he spends all his time on playing this video game where he is a demon lord, and he is so over-leveled. He's level 150. And basically is completely unbeatable in the game, and ends up being summoned into a world that's similar but notably different than the video game world as his avatar. With all the powers, but he hasn't spoken to another human being face to face in years.
God, I wonder what that's like.
Yeah.
Oh wait, that's my life at the moment.
Without anytime he's talked to people, it's been in online in demon persona. So he basically can only communicate effectively as the demon persona. So you'll hear his inner thoughts, and then he'll say something like, "I have to get on with everyone," and he's like, "You would dare challenge me," which is again the Overlord thing is there, except he's got a personality and isn't a prick.
Yes,
which is one of the big things that's turned me off of Overlord. It's just oh, he's an entitled jackass. Okay. Whereas this is just a nice guy who really didn't get out much.
Without social skills, totally.
So, as is the way of anime, he got summoned by 2 girls who were looking for a powerful summon, ends up kind of sort of owning them. by accident. And yeah, it sort of hijinks from there. It does have an ongoing plot that has quite a lot of violence in it, surprisingly enough.
Yeah.
And it does have a little bit of heart. It does have some heart. Like, it does look into like why he ended up the way he did, and his relationship with people. It is quite ecchi. It is quite booby. If that bothers you, it bothers you. I was just happy to actually like, oh, this is actually funny. So I laughed. I laughed where I was supposed to laugh, and boobs don't bother me. So that's all I can say. And I'm not having a go at anyone who is put off by this, but I'm just saying, like, boobs don't bother me specifically.
Monster.
I'm a monster. And yeah, all the characters are likable. Got good gags. Got good pace. I'm looking forward to season 2 now. I know it's coming out. The opening's nothing to write home about.
No, I don't remember the opening being great.
But I'd say if you're into isekais and you want a comedy and you like the premise of Overlord, but you might have found Ainz to be a jackass. And also, like, this feels a lot less entitled than Ainz did. Ainz had that thing that sometimes bothers me, which is like, hey, you nerd. You want the big-titted woman that you'll never meet in real life because no woman will ever love you?
Mm-hmm.
Well, here she is, and she literally can't think of anything but fucking you.
Well, to be fair, that's because he made her that way as well, which is concerning as well.
Yeah, whereas this is, okay, they actually have to learn to like him.
Yes.
And it still goes in the anime thing of like, okay, the girls like him, but it's like, okay, they have personalities and wants and desires of their own, and he just comes into our lives and affects it as a person would.
God, Overlord has so many other issues. I don't think we need to get into all of the issues that Overlord suffers, because there's a lot, at least from my perspective.
But that was always like, listen, as a man who likes a good bit of jiggle physics, I don't like watching something which makes me feel like I'm a prick for agreeing with the protagonist. Like, if I said, like, you know what, you should be able to go out there and meet the girl of your dreams, because there are plenty of girls interested in dating nerds who say hello to them. Because there are. I've met many of them. It's really undermined by, you have to literally make a woman to suit your every need.
And then he doesn't have any interest in her.
Yeah. So the whole gag is she would do anything to him, and he doesn't have a penis because he's a skeleton.
Yeah, and even then, he's not even that interested in her.
He's basically asexual, apart from the fact he made it. And she's too much.
It's so weird. Oh, there's such a disconnect as well between his inner voice. Yeah, again, we're not going to get into it. Yeah. We're not going to get into it.
No. So yeah, Demon Lord, I think if you're into anime, it's worth a watch. It's only 12 episodes. Give it a go. That's all the major stuff. I did like a weird thing where I kind of started trying to track down isekai trope makers.
Okay.
Because, like, between Jobless Reincarnation and a few other things, I've sort of realized, like, one, it's fascinating how much rip-off is just normal in manga. Because, like, every single major isekai series you can think of has been ripped off 1,000 times with almost no creativity. In a way that you'd never get away with in Decided Pond.
I suppose that's kind of prevalent in the shonen stuff as well.
Absolutely,
really,
absolutely. Yeah. Like, that's the thing. It's not just isekais. But the thing with isekais is isekai is very trend-based.
Oh,
Second one is popular, you get 1,000 replicas of it. So but the thing is, every time I found the one that was popular, it turned out it was really good. Or at least good enough that I think, like, this is worth watching. So I'm trying to, like, trace back different isekai tropes that I'm interested in.
Yeah, I imagine that could be interesting, or it could, it'll obviously lead you to some mediocrity as well, sure.
There's one which I've discovered recently, which is Guy is kicked out of a party by being told he's useless. He's not. He's secretly really good at whatever he does. But he's kicked off. He goes off to live his regular life, and then, like, the people who kicked him off either realize, holy shit, we fucked up, or don't, and then start blaming him, and then it's like the usual hijinks. But that's an interesting idea, and I'm trying to find where that originally came from.
Okay.
There also seems to be something of the I tame animals in some way. That's a big thing as well in the isekai genre.
Right, that's basically Pokemon with another world, right?
But it's like, you tame animals, but again, it's like people don't think there's anything good about it. And there's so many of them. So many of them. There must be something about them, There must be an original. So, I don't know. It's weird, and that was my week.
Fair enough.
What about you, Andy?
What have I been up to? Just been my usual work week for the most part. I've been cracking on with Tiger and Bunny. I've got the last episode to go tonight. Hey, Mikey, that is a good show still.
I know.
I think it does still it suffers some issues of it has too many characters and doesn't give them enough time to breathe in a lot of ways. The only character that really gets to expand is Blue Rose.
Yeah.
And that's mainly because she has an attraction to the main character, Kotetsu, which is kind of weird because he's never really given an age, but he has a kid who's 8, so he's probably in his 30s, and she's a idol, so again, probably, I'll be generous and say like 16 to 18, but probably more 16.
Yeah.
And she wants him. She really wants him.
In Japan, she is technically legal as far as I know.
No, that's true. That is true, which is fair. It's kind of weird to see. Yeah. Luckily, he has no idea. It's oblivious to him.
Oh, good.
He's just very nice to her. Yeah, I mean, you've seen the show. You know what's up. Most of the characters have at least one episode. Two of them don't have any kind of episode really devoted to them or the backstory. I will say the early half of the series kind of maybe just asks about a little bit too much. I think they're trying to do world building, but it's not desperately interesting. And then it starts, picking up finally. And I think the end is a good, solid oof. Yeah, feels good. CGI is still a bit distracting for the most part, but you get used to it. But it's good. Yeah, it's still entertaining little show. I've been enjoying it quite a bit. The last few episodes as well have definitely been like, oh, it's 3:00 in the morning. I'll do one more. So some evenings have been quite late sleeping, unfortunately. But that shows how good it is if it keeps pulling me back in, baby. You spoke of Limbo earlier this week, earlier in the show, not this week, earlier in the show. And I played that this week on stream for the first time. I'd never played it before. It's not my kind of game. I did complete it in one sitting, which was apparently 3.3 hours, according to what Steam says. I thought it was interesting, but I had no idea what the story was. I had no idea what was going on, but I did like killing the child quite a bit. I don't know what that says about me, but I found it incredibly funny, like accidentally missing a jump and diving headfirst into a moving saw blade. And stuff like that. I found the puzzle spike became quite difficult. Like, I don't know whether this was due to me being like really fucking tired by the end, but it got to a certain stage like near the end of the game where I felt the puzzles and stuff went from like, oh, this is really easy to, whoa, this is really precise platforming and timing that you have to do now. And that got a little bit annoying, but I think it's visually quite a nice little game. And I don't even remember how I got it. I don't know if someone gave it to me, if I got it for free, or if I paid for it. But either way, Limbo, it's interesting. And there's probably a lot of lore videos on it to explain what the fuck's actually happening in it. I just don't know what it is. What else have I been up to? I've got Blasphemous. Is Mikey aware of Blasphemous?
Heard of, I don't know really. I've heard the name, I don't really know what it's about.
Think of a Castlevania-style game, you know those kind of games?
Yeah.
It's one of those. It's pixelated 2D artwork. It's very nice, but it's set in a very grim universe, kind of Dark Souls-y feeling universe, but imagine an incredibly religious take on it. There's a lot of very old, highfalutin, religion-y kind of words and like visuals, which again kind of go over my head. I have no idea what's happening, but your first task was to beat the 3 penances. No, you're the penitent one, is what your name is, and you seem to be one of many. Yeah. And you had to beat 3 of the great humiliations so you can get something to go and see something. Again, I'm sure watching a lore video later on will make a lot more sense. But at the moment, it's very much me going, I'm playing the game, being very confused, but having a fun time. And that's the main thing. It's much more Castlevania-y style of gameplay than it is Dark Souls, but it does have sometimes the unforgiving nature of a Dark Souls. Sometimes, at least. It's good. It's like I say, it's visually very very interesting to watch. Very interesting little game to see from a design and art aspect. So that's neat. I got a box this week. Got a box from Japan, which contained one more of the 8-minute mission robots. So I got one of them, and I got one 3 upgrade kits, I think. So 2 weapon pack upgrade kits and 1 robot upgrade kit. And also in the box was the SD Gundam Diao-chan and Lubu as well.
Yeah.
And yeah, all of those kits I was super happy with. The customization on the 30-minute mission stuff is amazing. It's really fun. I highly recommend those kits because just don't buy one kit.
Yeah.
Like if you're gonna get into 8-minute missions or 30-minute mission stuff, I should say, the optimum way is to either get 2 model kits so you can play around with them, or get 1 model kit and then a few upgrade kits for it. Again, just so you can kind of play around with the customization and stuff. And the Jiao-chan and the Lubu, again, I'm very impressed with. They don't do a lot in terms of articulation. They hold together, I think, a little bit better than Dongzhuo.
Mm.
The one thing that kind of confuses me, at least from a design aspect about the Jiao-chan, is all of the other Gundams, their color scheme is gold, very ostentatious gold, with a translucent color, and their main color, right? So, like the Sinanji, which is Lubu, is primarily red. All of the Gundams primarily have blue or a white on them. Jiao-chan is based off the Kshatriya, which is like a army green color, and she has no army green on her at all. She is primarily white and gold and black, and then has red shoulder pads. I don't really understand why that was the case, or why that was chosen, but it seems like a really odd one, why she is I think she's one of the only ones that has a very distinctly different look to what the mechas that she's meant to be based on. Maybe that'll change as I look through more of them, but I did think it was an odd disconnect, you know? I would like to get more of them. I will be getting more of them. Both me and you saw that the Gundam SD Gundam World has a TV movie or series coming out.
Yeah.
And I don't know about you, but my favorite looking one from that was Nobunaga.
Yeah, that looked good.
A lot of those ones looked really good. And I'm much more interested in getting them because I know how they feel now, and I know they're cheap as shit. So, again, even if I don't like it that much, it's like, that one was £3 and it's basically a box filler, and I'm okay with that. Did I do anything else? I haven't really watched any anime, just mainly on the basis that I've been doing the Tiger and Bunny dealio, so I think that's really been my week for the most part, Mr. Mikey. I think that's it. And we did have, I found the question, or Simon Tang sent the question again, which I messed up and didn't. You remember last week how I said I think we had a question, but I don't know where it was.
Yeah.
Simon was nice enough to send it in again, so I'll start off with that.
Did you apologize to
Andy
Simon?
What's that?
Did you apologize to Simon?
I did. If I haven't, I apologize, Mr. Simon. So, Simon Tang starts off by saying, "Hi, Andy and Mikey. Just reposting my question. What type of paints do you use? Lacquers, enamels, or acrylics? Do you have any favorite brand?" Which is, to me, Testor, which I haven't heard of. Humbrol or GW. Do you have a dedicated workspace? I live in Canada, and it can be very cold and windy for much of the year. I carve out a small corner in my basement for modeling and crafting. I'm much more incentivized to paint since I do not have to take everything down each and every session. That makes sense. Also, I invested in a portable spray booth. Allows me to work with oil-based paints. Besides Gunpla and GW, do you paint other things? I'm eyeing some recent Transformers for the paint touch, e.g. weapons and hubcaps, ECT. Thanks, Simon Tang. So, Mikey, first off, what paints do you use? What kind are they? And where do they come from? What brand are they?
I'm still new. I'm still very new. So I couldn't, so I'm experimenting with everything at the moment. So
yes,
I've used Gundam markers. I've used some stuff I've gotten off of like Games Workshop.
They're mostly acrylics, if you didn't know.
Yeah. Mine. I believe everything I've got has been acrylics.
Yeah, I think they're generally what people tend to go with.
Well, when I was doing research, that seemed to be the best one to go with for what I wanted.
Yeah,
I have like the ones I've gotten for the Optimus Custom, which I've been practicing the priming during the week as well. So I need to do a bit more with that before I'm super comfortable, and just finding time to do it as well. like they're all acrylics. I couldn't tell you the make off the top of my head. Like I said, I'm very new to this side of things, so I'm just trying to get a sense of what works for me, what doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I notice Nova Prime is not going to be perfect, but it's a good experiment.
See, that's what always makes me depressed when I try painting. It's the fact that I know it's not going to be in my head what I want it to be.
But
And
the way I'm looking at it is like, okay, this won't be the way I want it to be because I just don't have the experience. But
sure,
if I do it often enough, it will be the way I want it to be.
Oh, no, totally. Yeah, it's just in my mind. I always want it to look as best I can, and I get annoyed at myself that I can't ever get it the way I want. That is the way of the Andy.
So yeah,
the Andy brain.
Like, what about you, Andy? You know more about paints than I do.
I mean, I'm not a master paintsman, as no one says. But I go with the acrylics because it's generally what people have said to use from what I've seen. I have a lot of GW stuff just because it's the easier of the things to get because I can actually go to a shop and buy them.
Yeah.
I tried at first Tamiya stuff and didn't like it at all. I didn't like how it kind of how it came out of the pot onto the models that I was painting and went, okay, none of that. The best ones I've used personally are Vallejo, but I like to say Vallejo. They do some really good colors. The way that the paints work and feel like as you're painting are top quality. If you ever want paints, the problem with Vallejo it is more expensive, and you can't just go to a shop and buy it. You do have to order it in. But they also come in dripper bottles as well, which is a big plus over Games Workshop, which come in pots. So in a dripper bottle, this is for Mr. Mikey who might not know. Obviously, there is less area for air to get in and dry your paints out. When it's a pot, it's quite easy for like Games Workshop paint to dry out quite quickly in comparison to ones that are in dripper bottles. And it's one of the things that fans of Games Workshop are always like, Games Workshop, why the fuck are you not doing dripper bottles? It makes everything easier. They even have airbrush colors. So, something that you pour into an airbrush and they're still in a pot. And it's like, why? Why are you making this harder and messier? It's a weird choice. So I always like Vallejo if possible, but I also have Army Painter as well, which are okay. They feel kind of GW-ish as well, to be fair. Not as good as Vallejo, in my opinion. Do you have a special workplace, Mikey? Because I have a not really special workplace. It's just the room next to here, which just has a little desk in. Besides doing that, it was in the kitchen beforehand. I have kind of wanted a portable spray booth, but they're expensive, or you can make your own, but that requires talent and knowledge of what you're doing, which I couldn't do. So, yeah. What about yourself, Mikey?
I have a space set aside in my room for just like desk painting. And it's my building space. So I do everything there. I am currently, since I'm trying out spray paints, I am trying to set out somewhere out. Like a couple of years ago, we had a really nice little shed that would have done perfectly for this, but that got knocked down. So I am trying to sort of set up a very, very rudimentary spot outside, like just like a cardboard box and like a desk and a few other things. So it is walled off, but it's still very open air. So I like that level of painting, like before I've done highlights or I've just like done eyes and stuff like that. So this kind of like full body coating kind of thing is I'm learning and everything else, and I really want my own space so I can sort it out and be able to just like make it up. And I'd like to get one of the spray boxes at some point, because ultimately I'd like an indoor space to do everything. And I've seen big ones of those, like they'll do for airbrushing, they'll do for spraying, like spray cans. Like I think that would be really nice. But I
means you can do it all year round as
well.
Instead of just being like, oh, you've got summer to do it and then you're done.
It really helps with the problem of fumes and stuff like that. So at some point I will hopefully go down that route. But I do not I get work in progress. Like I've been building model kits now for about 10 months, and I like it.
God, it's only been 10 months for you.
Yeah, and like I felt so weird when I started trying to paint things. Because I was like, I'm going to fuck it up and everything else. I've gotten a lot more confident. I do I really enjoy doing small details now because there's a lot more cleanup and everything else. So there's just a lot more involved. Like when I got the little the Keropla figure, the little frog himself, his eyes are completely unpainted, and I spent a good long while doing the eyes up and painting in the whites and the blacks and everything else, and I really enjoyed just getting that kind of detail in. And 10 months ago, you couldn't have convinced me to try that. I would have leapt at the stickers. Like, I love having the option now. Like, if I don't want to use a sticker for something, I now feel confident enough to replace that detail myself.
Yeah, I haven't got around to actually doing anything with my Gundams. I probably should at some point. And I think I probably will try it this year if I can. So I'll need to like go in and start pulling the kits apart so I can then base them. Actually, I'll need to do something I haven't done before as well, which is like pull the kits apart, find out which parts I can glue together, and then do the seam line stuff for. Glue them and shave them down, get rid of the seam lines in them. Yeah. And then kind of work from there, and then do the painting on top of that.
Yeah,
that's one benefit to that. Once you decide you're gonna paint, is kind of the point where you're like, okay, I can decide that this is the time where I'm gonna start gluing stuff as well.
Yeah. I'll gluing will take a while for me. Gluing feels too permanent, but I will.
If you're painting, you probably should.
I will probably start, like, I'm getting a Zoid kit in July, and the HMMs usually need some kind of, because they're usually a bit fiddly. So I will probably get some glue to keep the pieces on there, and I'll learn a proper gluing approach.
I mean, some Gundams require gluing just because, like, a small part will be like, nope, I'm not sticking on you, and you're like, oh, for fuck's sake. God damn it, why? But yeah, was there any other things that you do apart from like your model kits at the moment? That was the last part of the question.
I have been staring at Cyberverse Grimlock and thinking there's a ton of detail that I could do with panel lining. Like there really is. Like he's got a ton of unmarked detail. I have to admit, with Transformers and stuff like that, I'm a wee bit more aware of the fact that I tend, after a couple of years, to clear stuff out. There's very few figures I keep figures I'm in love with. I'll probably keep Cyberverse Grimlock because he's for the Grimlock shelf. But
sure.
So he'll probably I could be very tempted to do at least a paneling on him. I don't think I'll do the legs because, like I said, you handle them a lot for transforming. Yeah, and I've got a top coat, but I think top coats are meant for action figures, not something where you're like gripping it constantly, going like rub. So I would sometimes I found figures I would like to do that with, but I'm definitely now aware of the fact like these are going to leave here at some point. And some people, like, I am going to try and recoup a bit of money off it, or I'm going to try and give it away. If I'm going to give it away, that's fine. But if I am trying to sell it, then some people will say that's not as that's not as is.
No, and I think you're looking for a more specific market that will want customized toys to buy.
Like, in that kind of thing, I might as well just go nuts and try and sell it for $200. What about you, Andy?
No, that's pretty much it, to be honest. And unfortunately, we've got to wrap the show up now. So, Mikey, where can people find you on the internet? You
can find me on Irish Paleo, and you can contact us on Moonbase 2 at Twitter and Patreon and moonbase2@gmail.com and everywhere else. I had a comment from Andreas again this week, but it was mostly just adding on to the Macross comments. Andreas, I did read it, and it was really interesting. But with time and everything else, we won't go into it. But it was like really interesting. That was really good information you gave me. I appreciate it.
Yes, thank you.
What about you, Andy?
You can find me on Twitter, CCTFW. You can find me on YouTube as Cripple Commander TFW. You can find the podcast on Moonbase 2 forums on Twitter, iTunes, Facebook, Libsyn, and YouTube as Moonbase 2 Transformers Podcast as well, if you want to go that way. We're also on the ccbunker.weebly.com, and if you head over to patreon.com/Moonbase2, you can get the extended version of From the Files of Teletran 2 each month and a week ahead of everybody else. And you can also get the Moonbase Woo Woo, where we talk about non-transforming things in more detail. And that's it. That's all of us done. So thank you very much, Mikey, for coming on and talking with me once again this week.
I am glad to be here. Don't let Hachima get you.
No, beware of Hachima.
Jesus Christ, there's a rabbit hole I've been down in the last week. The Hachima lore hole. Jesus Christ. Never sleeping again. She'll come for you at night.
Oh, I believe you. 100% believe you. But until next time, everybody, we will catch you suckers. Until then.
Toodle pip, kids.
Bye-bye. Woo!